Someone I know retired at 29 using 73 of these 100 tips. Most people will use about 5 in their entire life, then wonder why they're still broke at 40. Here's what nobody tells you about money tips. The advice isn't the problem. Knowing what to do isn't the problem. The problem is that most financial advice gets ignored because it doesn't feel urgent, doesn't feel sexy, and doesn't promise overnight results. So people read it, nod along, and do absolutely nothing. This video has 100 tips, and I know that sounds insane, but they're organized into 6 sections that function like a roadmap. Belief systems, saving strategies, debt management, income generation, investing, advanced tactics. You don't need all 100. You need the 10 that apply to your exact situation right now. And one of those 10 could be worth 6 figures over your lifetime. I'm going to move fast. Take notes. Pause if you need to, but actually use what you learn here. Because knowing this stuff and not using it is worse than not knowing it at all. Let's start with the section that determines whether anything else matters. Tip 1. Believe that financial freedom is actually possible. If you don't believe it's possible, you won't change your behavior. You won't invest in yourself. You'll treat it like a pipe dream, and it will stay a pipe dream. The average American retires at 65 with less than $200,000 saved. They have maybe 10 good years left before health issues take over. That's the default path. You're choosing whether to follow it. Tip 2. Define your why. Freedom at 29 doesn't happen by accident. It happens because someone had a reason strong enough to endure years of sacrifice. For some people, it's spending time with their kids. For others, it's traveling the world without asking for permission. For others, it's never having to set an alarm again. If your why is weak, you'll quit when it gets hard, and it will get hard. Tip 3. Calculate your freedom number. Your freedom number isn't $1 million so you can live on $40,000 a year indefinitely. It's simpler. Add up all your monthly living expenses. Rent, food, insurance, everything. Then figure out how much passive income you'd need to cover that number every month. That's your freedom number, and it's probably lower than you think. Tip 4. Front load the pain. You get paid for how much value you give to society. When you give a lot of value to a lot of people, you make a lot of money. If you can front load 2 to 3 years of extreme effort, you can earn 5 years worth of money in 1 year's worth of time. Most people spread the pain over 40 years. And wonder why they never get ahead. Tip 5. Never follow the crowd. The average American is overweight, depressed, broke, working until 65, living paycheck to paycheck. If your goal is to have different finances than everybody else, assume everything popular is probably wrong. Tip 6. Embrace being different. For years, someone I know only wore thrift store clothes, drove a beater car, lived in a cheap location, ate differently, worked differently, slept differently. Being normal means being broke. Being weird means having options. Tip 7. Build systems instead of goals. If you have a goal to save $10,000 in a year, that's possible. But without systems, you'll hit the goal once and slide back. Systems automate the behavior, so you don't rely on motivation or willpower. You rely on design. Tip 8. Learn consistently. One of these tips could change your life, but you won't know which one until you try it. Nobody inherently knows how to budget, invest, or earn well. You learn by reading books, listening to podcasts, talking to people who've done it. 1 or 2 books isn't enough. Make learning a staple. Tip 9. Take the low-hanging fruit. There are simple ways to save money that most people ignore because they're not exciting. Compare car insurance. Switch grocery stores. Stop overpaying for your phone plan. These won't make you rich, but they'll save you $2,000 to $5,000 a year for doing almost nothing. Tip 10. Tomorrow never comes. If you're waiting to start budgeting next week or start investing after New Year's, you won't do it. Scientifically backed. You're wasting your time planning to start. Just start now. Those 10 tips are the foundation. Belief systems. If you skip this section, nothing else works. Now let's talk about actually keeping the money you earn. Tip 11. Target a 75% savings rate. That sounds ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but it's also how people retire in their 20s and 30s instead of their 60s. For most people, this takes years and major life changes, but it's possible, and it changes everything. Tip 12. Focus on the big three: housing, transportation, food. These three categories eat most of your income. If you optimize these, you don't need to worry about lattes. Tip 13. House hack. Buy a 2 to 4 unit property with a first-time homebuyer loan. Live in one unit, rent the others out. Your tenants pay your mortgage. You live for free. Rinse and repeat. Tip 14. Drive a 10-year-old car. Buy it used in cash. Drive it for 1 to 3 years. Sell it for roughly what you paid. You just got free transportation. Tip 15. Meal plan like your freedom depends on it. Food is one of your biggest expenses. If you're throwing stuff away, you're burning money and time. Make a plan. Stick to it. Tip 16. Cancel recurring expenses. Subscriptions, streaming services, gym memberships you don't use. If you're serious about freedom, you should be watching less TV anyway. Tip 17. Buy generic everything. A lot of name brands are made in the same factory as the generic version. You're paying for marketing. Tip 18. Use credit card rewards. Sign up for cards with sign-up bonuses. Hit the minimum spend. Get free flights. Cancel the card later. Someone I know has gotten dozens of free flights this way. Tip 19. Don't pay bank fees. Americans pay an average of $329 a year in bank fees. That's a total waste. Tip 20. Use credit cards the right way. If you can't pay off your credit card at the end of every month, cut it up. Throw it away. Burn it. The best you can hope for in the stock market is 10% average annual return. If you're losing 30% on credit card interest, you're sabotaging yourself. Tip 21. Switch to black coffee. Not only is it healthier, but if you're spending $5 a day on lattes, that's $1,800 a year. You're paying money to hurt yourself. Tip 22. Pack your own lunch. Eating out costs 2 to 3 times more than cooking. Meal prep once a week. Be prepared. Tip 23. Don't buy sale items. Buy things you love. If everything you own is your favorite, you stop needing to buy more. Unless something's a 90 plus out of 100, don't buy it. Tip 24. Understand cost per use. A $50 shirt you wear 50 times costs $1 per use. A $10 shirt you wear once costs $10 per use. The expensive shirt is cheaper. Tip 25. Avoid extended warranties. Retailers make an 80% profit margin on extended warranties. It's a scam. Tip 26. Stop buying bottled water. Invest in a filter. Bottled water is 2,000 times more expensive. Tip 27. Negotiate everything. Call your internet provider and say you're canceling. They'll offer you half price to stay. Works every time. Tip 28. Use the 30-day rule. If you want something that's not a necessity, write it down. Leave it in your cart for 30 days. If you still want it, buy it. Most likely, you'll forget about it. Tip 29. Invest in things between you and the ground. Mattress, shoes. Things that impact your health are worth spending money on. Tip 30. Set up automatic savings. If you're not stealing from yourself every paycheck, you're not saving as much as you could. Automate it, so you don't have the opportunity to waste it. These 20 tips focus on keeping money. Saving isn't about deprivation. It's about eliminating waste and automating the process. Most people save 5 to 10% of their income and wonder why they're still broke at 50. The people who save 50 to 75% retire at 30. Same income, different systems. Saving money is half the equation. But if you're buried in debt, saving doesn't matter. Let's talk about debt management. Tip 31. Understand good debt versus bad debt. People who understand and use good debt build wealth. People who get trapped in bad debt stay broke. Tip 32. Pay off the highest interest first. If you have a car loan at 16% and a mortgage at 5%, mathematically you should pay the 16% first. Tip 33. Sometimes it's good to not pay off your mortgage. If you have a 3 or 4% mortgage and you can earn 10% in the stock market, it makes no sense to pay off the mortgage. But don't always follow the math. For some people, the mental stress of having debt ruins everything. Know your risk tolerance. Tip 34. Don't consolidate your debt unless you change your behavior. A lot of people consolidate debt, then build up the original debt again. You haven't solved the problem. You've just moved it. Tip 35. Don't go to college if you have no idea what you want to study. If you're going to get tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for I don't know what, don't. An incredibly high percentage of people don't use their degree, and student loans can destroy your life before it starts. Tip 36. Never use payday loans. These charge 400% interest. They're designed to trap you in cycles. Avoid them like the plague. Tip 37. Build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Once you have this, you should never need bad debt again. Tip 38. Use other people's money. Someone I know bought a $200,000 property at 22 with $6,500 of their own money. The rest was the bank's money. That property has since doubled. They had almost no downside risk. That's good debt. That's leverage. Tip 39. Optimize for cash flow, not net worth. Monthly income matters more than paper wealth. If your goal is freedom, you need passive income that covers your expenses. Net worth on a balance sheet doesn't pay your rent. Tip 40. Create systems for everything. Debt management, saving, investing, workouts. Everything should have a system so it runs automatically. Debt isn't evil, it's a tool. Bad debt takes money from you. Good debt makes money for you. Most people don't understand the difference, so they avoid all debt and miss opportunities. Or they take on bad debt and drown. Learn the difference. Use it strategically. You fixed your belief systems. You're saving 75%. You're managing debt intelligently. Now let's talk about making more money. Tip 41. Avoid unscalable side hustles. There's a place for hourly work. Cleaning buildings, DoorDash, Uber. But if you want to make real money, you need scalable income. Something that makes nothing at first, but has massive upside later. Tip 42. Try random stuff. Someone I know started posting text posts on YouTube. One post reached 99% non-followers and made $150. Random things work. You just have to try. Tip 43. Work to learn instead of to earn. If you work to learn valuable skills, long term you'll make way more money than someone who just works for a paycheck. Tip 44. Build multiple streams of income. W-2 income, rental properties, investment income, side hustle income. If you lose your job, the world doesn't end. Tip 45. Negotiate your salary annually. Most people leave thousands of dollars on the table every year because they don't ask for raises. Tip 46. Budget your time, not just your money. A lot of finance people track every dollar but don't track their time. Time is your most valuable resource. See where you're losing it. Tip 47. Give yourself a higher hourly value. Value your time at $100 to $1,000 an hour. If you start believing you're worth that much, you'll stop wasting time on low-value activities. Tip 48. Avoid your weaknesses. School taught you to fix weaknesses. That's stupid when it comes to making money. Lean into your strengths. Outsource your weaknesses. Tip 49. Create content around your expertise. YouTube, blogging, courses, Instagram. Even if you fail, you learn valuable skills, and teaching others makes you better. Tip 50. Network with purpose. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Be intentional about who that is. It'll affect how much you earn. Tip 51. Take a lot of risks. Not reckless risks, calculated risks. If you always play it safe, you'll never succeed. Failure is how you learn. Tip 52. Learn sales and marketing. Everything in the world is a funnel. A lot of money comes down to sales. It's a great skill. Read books on it. Practice it. Tip 53. Go remote. If you can work remotely, you unlock time you'd spend commuting and unlock location freedom. It might take years to make happen, but it's worth it. Tip 54. Build a 3 to 6 month freedom fund. On top of your emergency fund, this gives you the ability to take risks, move for a job, take a pay cut for a startup with huge upside. Freedom funds create opportunities. Tip 55. Maximize your employee match. If your company offers a 401k match, that's free money. Take it. Tip 56. Learn AI. AI is here. It's not going anywhere. People who take advantage of it will be miles ahead. Tip 57. Develop a personal brand. Your Instagram, your LinkedIn. Future employers will look at it. It can also be a way to monetize your skills. Tip 58. Start before you're ready. You're never going to feel ready to start a business, take a class, ask for a raise, or make a big move. Do it anyway. Tip 59. Lean into your strengths. Successful people in school often work for people who were bad in school, because school has nothing to do with real life. Focus on what you're good at. Tip 60. Outsource low-value work. If you can use AI or a virtual assistant to do work for $5 or $10 an hour, it's crazy not to. You get time back. You make more money. Saving has a ceiling. You can only cut expenses so much. Income has no ceiling. There's always another skill to learn, another stream to build, another negotiation to have. Most people focus on saving $5 on coffee and ignore the fact that they could be earning $5,000 more per month. Fix both, but prioritize income. You're earning more, saving more, managing debt. Now let's talk about what to do with the money you're accumulating. Tip 61. Invest in low-cost index funds. The S&P 500 has an expense ratio under 0.1%. It beats most actively managed funds long-term. Keep it simple. Tip 62. Automate your investing. Investing weekly or monthly forces you to build wealth. You remove the decision. Tip 63. Don't try to time the market. Everyone thinks they can buy low and sell high. If you could do that consistently, you'd be a billionaire. It's really hard. Just invest consistently. Tip 64. Take advantage of compound interest. $1,000 invested for 30 years at 10% return becomes $17,000. You didn't work for that. Time did. Tip 65. Look into real estate investing. Real estate can be a powerful wealth-building tool. Check out resources like BiggerPockets. Someone I know bought their first rental using those strategies. It changed their finances. Tip 66. Try the house hack 3-step. House hack. Do it 2 to 3 times. On the third one, you own a house and a couple rentals. The past 3 to 5 years of sacrifice now pay for your dream home for the rest of your life. Tip 67. Dollar cost average. Invest the same amount of money over and over. Every day, every week, every month. It averages out over time. Tip 68. Avoid emotional investing. Most people who try to trade lose money. A lot of investors get very emotional. If that's you, don't check the stock market. Just invest and forget. Tip 69. Understand your risk tolerance and stage of life. How you invest at 25 is different from how you invest at 55. You're further from retirement. You have more things to fall back on. Adjust accordingly. Tip 70. Learn about taxes. There are ways to pay less, especially as a business owner with investment income. You don't want to give extra to the government. They don't know how to use it. Tip 71. Don't chase performance. A lot of people buy stocks because they see them going up. Then they end up holding the bag when smart people sell. If you're hearing about it, you're probably too late. Tip 72. Understand inflation. If your money is sitting in an account earning nothing, you're losing money. A $100,000 salary in January 2020 has the same buying power as a $124,000 salary in April 2025. If you haven't gotten a 25% raise in 5 years, you've lost 25% of your money. Tip 73. Invest in yourself first. Before you invest in stocks, invest in yourself. Buy books, get an Audible subscription, watch YouTube videos. If you invest $1,000 and learn a skill that makes you an extra $100 a month, you get your money back in a year. That's a better return than the stock market. Tip 74. Read all the books. Financial education is the best investment you can make. Tip 75. Use tax-advantaged accounts. 401ks, IRAs, HSAs. These save you thousands in taxes. Tip 76. Diversify. Don't put all your money in one stock, one property, one asset class. Spread risk. Tip 77. Reinvest dividends. Compounding works faster when you reinvest. Tip 78. Don't panic sell. The market drops. It always recovers. If you sell at the bottom, you lock in losses. Tip 79. Understand opportunity cost. Every dollar you spend is a dollar you can't invest. Every dollar you don't invest costs you future growth. Tip 80. Start early. The earlier you start, the more time compounds. A 25-year-old who invests $10,000 will have way more at 65 than a 35-year-old who invests $50,000. Time beats money. Investing isn't exciting. It's not fast. It doesn't give you wins you can brag about at parties. But it's the only strategy that consistently works for normal people. Automate, diversify, wait. You've learned the foundation: beliefs, savings, debt, income, investing. Now let's talk about the advanced strategies that separate the people who get rich from the people who get wealthy. Tip 81. Use other people's money. Someone bought a $200,000 property with $6,500 of their own money. The rest was the bank's. That property doubled. They had almost no downside risk. That's leverage. Tip 82. Optimize for cash flow, not net worth. Monthly income matters more than paper wealth. If you need $10,000 a month to live and you generate $10,000 in passive income, you're free. Tip 83. Create systems for everything. Your workout, your saving, your investing. Everything should have a system. Once it's set up, it runs automatically. Tip 84. Take advantage of business structures. Someone moved from an LLC to an S-Corp and saved tens of thousands a year just by changing the structure. Consult a professional. Tip 85. Use geo-arbitrage. If you can live in a low-cost location while earning a high-cost salary, you sprint to freedom. If you need $10,000 a month to live where you are, or you can move somewhere tropical and only need $3,000, you might already be free. Tip 86. Define your enough. When you know what enough is, you stop chasing more. Your stress goes down. If you never define enough, you'll always feel broke, no matter how much you make. Tip 87. Avoid lifestyle inflation. As you earn more, you spend more. Sometimes your finances get worse. Keep your expenses flat as your income grows. Tip 88. Focus on experiences over things. Travel, time with family. Experiences create memories. Things collect dust. Tip 89. Don't try to impress other people. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Most of them are trapped trying to look wealthy. Tip 90. Be grateful. You live in an amazing time. You have opportunities people 50 years ago couldn't imagine. Gratitude makes you happier and helps you avoid looking for meaning in stuff. Tip 91. Maintain your relationships. Money is the leading cause of divorce. Money without relationships isn't rewarding. Don't sacrifice family to get rich. Tip 92. Maintain your health. If you give up your health to make money, you'll spend the money trying to get your health back. Stay healthy along the way. Tip 93. Remember that money is a tool. It can be a good tool or a bad tool, but it's just a tool. Tip 94. Money can buy happiness to a certain extent. It buys freedom, and freedom makes life more enjoyable. Tip 95. Plan your estate and legacy. Make sure your family isn't screwed if you pass. Get peace of mind. Tip 96. Consider alternative investments. The most popular things have the lowest returns. As you get more advanced, you can explore riskier, higher upside investments. Some will fail, some will work out incredibly well. Tip 97. Outsource work. If you can use AI or a VA to do work for $5 or $10 an hour, do it. You get time back. You make more money. Tip 98. Build a personal brand. Whether you're a creator or not, your online presence is something employers and clients will look at. It can also be a way to monetize. Tip 99. Start before you're ready. You're never going to feel ready. Do it anyway. Tip 100. Master the tool. Money is a tool. Learn about it. Think about it. Get really good with it. Don't stress about it. Master it. 100 tips. 6 categories. 1 roadmap. You don't need all 100. You need the 10 that apply to you right now. Someone retired at 29 using 73 of these. Most people will use 5 in their entire life and wonder why they're broke. The difference isn't intelligence, it's execution. Most people will watch this video, nod along, and do absolutely nothing. They'll save it. They'll think, I'll come back to this later. They won't. A small percentage will pick 3 to 5 tips and actually implement them this week. Those people will look back in 5 years and realize this video changed their financial trajectory. The tips aren't the magic, the execution is. Saving 75% of your income doesn't happen by accident. Retiring at 29 doesn't happen by accident. Building multiple income streams doesn't happen by accident. It happens because someone decided that being normal wasn't enough, and they built systems that automated the path to freedom. You can keep doing what most people do. Save 5%, work until 65, retire broke, hope for the best. Or you can pick 10 of these tips, build systems around them, and create a life where money works for you instead of the other way around. The information is right here. The roadmap is clear. The only question is whether you're going to use it. Most people won't. That's why 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. But you're not most people, or you wouldn't have watched this far. So here's what you do next. Pick 3 tips. Write them down. Implement them this week. Not next month, not after New Year's. This week. Because tomorrow never comes. And the life you want is built one decision at a time. The tips that will change your life are the ones you actually use. Everything else is just noise. If you want to know why $30 per hour doesn't actually pay you $30, click the left video. And if you want to know the real math about whether trading or investing is better, click the right video. And I'll see you there in a second.